welcome to my kitchen, and another episode of the holidays are coming. And boy are they coming. They're like here in a few days. So this week I kind of wanted to concentrate on appetizers and quick fixes for drop-ins, and maybe, you know, I wanted to start doing an antipasto platter, so I'm going to start doing the components of that as well. And so tonight we're going to start with what I think is the ultimate in appetizer fare, and that would be a liver pate. Now I can hear you all right now going, ew, liver. You know what? Pate is just amazing. And if you haven't given it a try, I highly recommend you do. And it doesn't have to be expensive. In fact, this is very inexpensive because we're going to use chicken liver. And it has very few ingredients and it's very easy to put together. Now, this is inspired by Mark Bitman's chopped liver recipe, which is inspired by his Jewish grandmother's chopped liver recipe. And if any of you are familiar with Mark Bitman, he writes for the New York Times. He's a super minimalist cook, and he likes to use few ingredients. This is my take on his chicken liver pate. Super simple, super delicious, and I hope you will give it a try. Please put the liver thing out of your mind, because once this is all cooked and cold and spread it on a piece of baguette, it's absolutely amazing. So let's see what goes into this. First of all, I have a stick of butter in my cast iron skillet on the stove. I have it on medium heat melting. This is a 20-ounce container. This is actually the chicken livers from 2 of these. But you see, once you put them in a colander and drain them, and then I went through each one, and there's kind of some gnarly parts in there because the chicken liver has 2 lobes to it. They're connected by a muscle and a vein. So you want to cut those pieces out. Anything that doesn't look really beautiful and simple like this, you don't want. So you save these pieces, and I'm going to fry them up later and give them to the dogs and the cats because I'm pretty sure they won't like those at all. All right, so what else I have here is I have a half a teaspoon of cloves, a half a teaspoon, and they're ground cloves, a half a teaspoon of ground allspice, and a teaspoon of freshly ground black pepper blend. And this is a black pepper blend. It's got white, pink, black, and red peppercorns in it, and green peppercorns. It's fantastic. You can just use straight up black pepper. We can add some salt later, but you don't want this to be too salty. This is a large onion that I have chopped, and then we're also going to use about a half a cup of heavy cream. That comes later. You're also going to need your food processor. You really can't do this recipe without a food processor. I mean, you could, but you want a food mill maybe. I definitely don't think you can do this in the blender because the chicken livers are they're just too meaty. So what we have, we're going to bring this over here. I've got my butter. This stays for later. I've got my butter melting in the pan. And what we're going to do is we're going to sweat the onions. First things first. Melt this butter. I have it over medium heat. And when I say sweat onions, I mean sweat them. Don't put them in a very hot pan. You want to sweat them just so they become translucent and completely cooked. So they kind of are going to melt down a little. They're going to release all of their water, and they're going to turn into a nice soft product. Then we're going to go ahead and add our chicken livers, and we're going to cook those through until they are no longer red. And then we'll move on with the food processor segment of this recipe. Then we're just going to take everything and grind it up smooth. We're going to put it in a bowl and put it in the fridge. You're going to want to refrigerate this for at least 2 hours. The best idea is to refrigerate this overnight before you're going to use it. So if you're going to plan on making this, plan on making it the day before you're going to want it. Now, there are other things that you can have on hand that you can throw together in an instant should you have people drop by, and they'll never know. Like, you can make your own boursin cheese or a nice cream cheese, herbed cream cheese spread. Put it out with some baguette or crackers. You can really throw together anything really simple as long as you have the right ingredients on hand. Some soft cheeses, some hard cheeses, a cheese spread, some crackers, some cocktail bread, a baguette or French bread, or some flatbreads you can throw in the oven and crisp up. maybe some garbanzo beans that you can throw in the food processor real quick with some roasted red peppers and make yourself a quick hummus. There are so many things that you can have on hand to just throw together in an instant. People would never know that you were unprepared. So I have put my onions in the pan. And now I'm going to go, because I'm just going to wait for these to sweat down, and I'm going to come back when that's all done, and these are nice and soft and translucent. So I'll be back. Alright, so these brown just a little bit more than I wanted them to, but it's no big deal. Everything's going to get ground up in there anyway. And I'm just going to have him just stick them in the food processor bowl for now and get them out of the way. There we go. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take a paper towel and I'm going to wipe the rest of these little bits of onion out of there. Because if those get stuck in there, they're going to be nasty and they're going to get bitter. Alright, now let me get a little bit more butter. Just about 2 tablespoons. And put this in the bottom of the pan there and melt that down. Now, chopped liver is a very traditional Jewish dish, and if you were a kosher Jew, a Hasidic Jew, who observed kosher laws, you would never be mixing milk and meat or dairy products and meat. That is a big no-no. So this is not a traditional Jewish recipe, but you know, butter makes everything better, right? In go these livers, every one of them. You get them in there. And you just want to cook these off. Don't worry, I know how gross they look, trust me. But the end result here is phenomenal. And you don't want to cook these over a high heat. You want to cook these over a medium to a medium-low heat. Because you want these almost to poach, but not quite. You definitely don't want them to fry. And just to let you know, my onions took about 5 to 6 minutes. And they got a little bit too brown for me, but when you make yours, if you make them, just keep an eye on them. I actually walked away from the frying pan, and I should never do that with this cast iron skillet because it does tend to get hot very fast. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go, once again, and I'm going to wait for these livers to cook off properly. And then when I come back, we're going to mix this all up together, and I'll show you what you come up with. Okay. Now you can see how much water these have rendered, but I'm going to take them. I'm not going to take all that liquid. I am just going to take the liver. And I want you to, these are not, you know, I didn't cook the pan until it was dry, and these chicken livers are not, they're not like rubbery little nuggets. You don't want that. You want them to be soft. And I think that the best way to say maybe medium rare in the middle, they're not going to be, you see, they're just a little bit pink in the middle, and that's how you want them. I don't even know if you can see it, but there. I think you can see. They're just ever so slightly pink, and that's okay. And don't worry, that's not going to go to waste. And we're going to come back over here, and I'm going to put these chicken livers in the food processor bowl with the onions and the clove, allspice, and pepper. I'm going to give a couple of good turns of kosher. This is not kosher. This is sea salt. And about a half a cup of cream. And watch this. Liver pate. How easy was that? Now, oh, it's yummy. It's going to be even good, even better when it's cool. And I think it needs a little more salt. And just a splash more cream. And give that another whirl. Alright. Now I'm going to put this in just a plastic container. Grab one. Should have done that before. Plastic spatula here. And I pretty much made this for my mom because my mom loves pate. Now, my kids love pate, but my kids don't know that pate has liver in it. So please don't tell them, because if you do, they'll never eat pate again. Because my kids have some idea that liver is yucky, but they eat liverwurst like it's going out of style. Because they've been eating liverwurst since they were babies.
Because you told them it didn't have liver in it.
Because I told them it didn't have liver in it, yes, and perhaps that was wrong on my part. Hmm? There's another life lesson in parenting, right? Alright. You're just going to put a lid on that, you're going to put it in the refrigerator, and then when you're ready to serve it, nice and cold, it's going to be spreadable, and you can put that on a baguette, and it's going to be delicious. So, I hope you try this, and I hope you at least try to enjoy it, even if you're a little close-minded about the liver thing. So, that's what pate is. Chopped liver, chicken liver pate, whatever you want to call it. I hope you try. I hope you love it. And until next time, Merry Christmas!